Hello everyone, like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily contents. Yo! What a game versus Napoli. We beat them by 2-0. Mo Salah and Darwin Núñez scored in the second half. But it's time to concentrate on other stuff now, like what's going to come in January. Are we going to sign some players? And so we've got lots to talk about. So let's do this, people. Let's do this. Yes, people, welcome to LFC Red Forever channel. So today we're going to be discussing if there's any potential transfers in the January transfer window. Are our owners, FSG, going to spend, and are they serious about it? Instead of like being, throwing things out there like they normally do, we're going to be helping Jurgen Klopp out with transfers, and then nothing comes of it. Probably a loan here, a loan there. Liverpool Football Club should not be loaning players. We're one of the biggest teams in the world football. Why aren't we buying the players that we need in positions? You know what I mean? Like, if we went for Tchouaméni, why didn't we get a replacement for Tchouaméni if he went to Real Madrid? And why don't we have more than one player in that position instead of just putting our eggs in one basket? Maybe he agreed to join Liverpool, I don't know. But you can't trust in that kind of ways if you haven't really cemented a transfer with the club he's at, but which didn't happen at the time, and unfortunately he chose Real Madrid over Liverpool. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about obviously what's to come for Liverpool Football Club in January, and probably in the summer as well. So let's talk about this. Yes, people, so from what I've heard around the club, FSG are willing to spend money in January, and they want to help Jurgen Klopp to cement a top 4 position, and beyond that if it's possible. A lot of people have been like complaining about the owners that they don't spend, they don't like share the same ambition as the football club. But I've already made a video in regards to why they do what they do, and they always apologize for it, and we always forgive them, and it's never going to change, I said. And unfortunately, people still around the club, around the city, support these owners because they saved us from bankruptcy, and that's the loyalty from a Liverpool side of things. Is we can't really give up on people that helped us out in the past straight away. Yes, they are spending a lot of money on the stadium, but like I said, the most important thing is on the pitch. And from like what I've heard in recent days, FSG are willing to spend, they're willing to invest in the team, which is breaking apart. But if you look at the actual players on the pitch, the age is going down, and you saw in the Champions League against Napoli the other day, a lot of young kids came on. Calvin Ramsey, Peticic, I think that's how you say his name. You got Harvey Elliott, you got Carvalho, you got Konate. So the age range is coming down. But is this what we want? Don't we supposed to get with the youngsters, like 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds, experienced young adults that could actually help out these players eventually to reach the targets that we want to reach. Yes, I'm all for youngsters coming in and blostering the squad and becoming even better, But what's our ambition? Are we still like going to compete for the Champions League football? Are we still going to compete for the Premier League football and, you know, the cups as well? Or are we just going to be riding along until these players get a certain age and get the experience and the probably can compete? You know, football is about here and now. It's not about tomorrow. Like, and if we don't start like performing here and now, we'll be far, far away from the rest of the other teams that's actually competing for the Premier League. So this is what I got from the transfers in January, if it's possible, and obviously in the summer as well. Youri Tielemans from Leicester City is available due to his contract coming to an end at the end of the season. So if you buy him now, probably get him for 20 million, maybe for less, I don't know. You just have to negotiate a transfer to basically bring him to Liverpool. But is he the type of player we need? I don't think so, because I see him treading water at times. Like, he's a bit big, he's too muscular, and Liverpool needs, you know, players that's actually running up and down that pitch, and he's not the type of player. Technically he's good, don't get me wrong, but is he what we need in that midfield currently? I don't know. If from my perspective, I honestly think like he's far from the midfielder we need because of the energy he gives out when he's playing for Leicester City. And but at the end of the day, you get, if you wait until the summer, you could get it for free if Liverpool go for him. But I'm sure a lot of teams are going to go for him as well. I think Arsenal is going to go for him as well. And if they play Champions League football next season, there's going to be a lot of attractions going to that club as well. But yeah, like I said about Youri Tielemans, he's not a Liverpool type player, especially under the Jurgen Klopp system. But if he comes, he comes. We'll support him through that, and that's how Liverpool fans are at the end of the day. That's one of the players. Not too sure, but you never know. And next player I'll bring up is Moses Caicedo. This is a player Liverpool have been after last summer. They have actually approached Brighton for him, and Brighton, from what I've heard, Brighton said you have to wait until January. At least we'll have find a replacement by that time. But the thing is, Brighton at the time had Graham Potter as their manager, and he was making the decisions on these players. But now he's no longer there. The player might become available and, you know, help us out in January. If you look at Caicedo, he's a type of player Liverpool are used to, and in my opinion, he's a typical Liverpool player. He runs up and down that pitch. He can pass the ball. He can intercept at the same time. This is what Liverpool need. I mean, since Ronaldo, we haven't had that kind of player that's, you know, controlling in that midfield and who's helping out Fabinho, who's been struggling this season as well. But with Caicedo, Moses Caicedo, he's one of those players that just suits everything Liverpool is all about. And I think if we get him, that midfield will be solid like it used to be before, if we're looking for that energetic midfield that we used to have as well. Yeah, so listen, in my opinion, get this player as soon as possible. Get this player as soon as possible, and don't waste any time before, you know, his transfers become like an extortion amount of money, and, you know, we can't really afford him. Liverpool don't spend a lot. Everybody knows. Obviously, Darwin Núñez probably is going to be the most expensive Liverpool player in history, and that's about what, 80 million probably in euros. So sorry, in pounds, and I don't think FSG go up beyond that either. So yeah, I just say get it ready right now, and then get him in January as soon as the transfer window opens. I don't want to wait, you know, till the end of the transfer window. It shouldn't be like that. Like, Liverpool Football Club are better than that. Why do we have to wait till the last day of the transfer window, do a bidding war? It doesn't even make sense. It's really silly. You got a whole month to actually get a player in, and just get him as soon as possible. If you prepare yourself beforehand, then you won't have an issue to get him as soon as the transfer window opens. And this kid is outstanding, and we need him not only for Premier League, we need him for Champions League football. If we're gonna continue in Champions League football, these are the type of players that's gonna be strength and depth, basically bring strength and depth to your team. And everybody knows Caicedo. Like, even though he hasn't been long at Brighton, but After that 4-0 win against Chelsea a few days ago, he was probably the best player on the pitch by far. Some of the passes he's done, I've never seen him play a lot, but some of the passes he's done, he impressed me more than anything, to be fair. And the way Robertson and Trent run from deep, he could just put that ball through. And then when the counter attack happens, which is our actual weakness at the moment, each time we attack, even from set piece or actually a normal attack on the pitch, we get counter-attacked and the teams get chances or they score a goal. So there's a lot of things we need to work on, and I think this kid can actually he could actually bring a lot to that midfield and make us even stronger, in my opinion. So we'll move on to the next one, which is my favorite one out of all, Ruben Neves from Wolverhampton. I think he's an outstanding player. I think he's a leader as well, and I think he's the passing ability that we need next to Thiago, to rest Thiago and use Thiago as a luxury player as we bought him in the first place. I mean, we didn't think Ronaldo was going to go that quickly. I mean, so and Thiago playing a lot of games at the same time, but this guy, he can pass, he could take set pieces, he could take shots from outside the box, which we don't really do as well, and more or less he scores from outside the box. He's technically gifted, and he can play number 6 as well, and he's always around the pitch if you need him to run around as well. So he gives you all in one, and I think he's the type of player that could actually make us even stronger in that midfield. Possession keeping as well. If you're looking for possession keeping, you look at Caicedo and you look at this kid, Ruben Neves. He's only 25 or 26. I honestly thought Ruben Neves is older than that, and it shocked me when I saw him. Like when I looked at his age, it's crazy. Because he's been around for so long, you think to yourself, oh, this guy is probably about 29, 30, maybe Liverpool is not going to go for him. But he's at the age we need with these youngsters as well. If we like decrease the actual age range in our football club, the future looks bright, and we don't have to keep panic buying anymore, if you know what I mean, people. We could buy players that fit the system gradually and think before we actually buy someone. Yeah, so Ruben Neves, in my opinion, he should be top of the list if we're going for a midfielder, because he brings more ability than the other two I talked about in the beginning. So yeah, Ruben Neves, I'm all for that. I think his contract's coming to an end as well, and if Liverpool get him as soon as possible, I think like he will be an outstanding player. You watch him in the World Cup for Portugal, then you'll see what I'm talking about. And the last but not least is this guy, Jude Bellingham and Liverpool. Are they gonna get this kid? I'm not too sure. If the top teams actually come in, I've even heard Pep Guardiola spoke to him during their game when they drew 0-0. I think after the game, and they might be looking for someone to replace Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne is not a split chicken, is he? He's actually, you know, getting older now. He's about 31, I think now. So eventually, you know, those legs ain't going to be the same anymore. Look at Steven Gerrard when he reached that age, and they're going to look for this kid like eventually. And to replace him, most probably replace him, because he's that type of player, like dominant in midfield, runs up and down, scores goals, creates goals, and he's an all-round midfielder in my opinion from what I've seen. I was suspicious about him at first because I was thinking to myself that Jadon Sancho, like, he's not setting the world alight, and everybody was talking about him in the same way as Jude Bellingham. But eventually Jadon Sancho has improved this season, not to the extent that everybody expect from him, but he has improved. Let's just be honest there. But this kid is different. He's more of a central midfielder than an actual winger. Wingers is a hit or miss, isn't it? At the end of the day. So, but Jude Bellingham, I'm telling you, people, if Liverpool get him, that's a big statement, big statement in my opinion. And Jurgen Klopp has to use his, you know, Dortmund link. I've always said that. Why is it always teams like Manchester City and Pep Guardiola go to Dortmund and get players when Jurgen Klopp is Dortmund? You know what I mean? He's Liverpool and Dortmund, isn't he? And so why can't he go for those players and speak to the actual owner? You know, I need help here. I don't go for your players normally, but, you know, just put this one through for me and let me get him as soon as possible to improve my current team at Liverpool Football Club. I mean, you got to put the football club first, Jurgen Klopp, instead of, like, you know, just watching other teams buy from your former club. Yes, the loyalty stays there, and it's not good to buy players from those clubs, but they're willing to sell. You know what I mean? And why do you have to strengthen your enemies when you should be the one that's frontline and to get the best players possible? And he's in the right age as well. I mean, I think it's about 19, 20, something like that. So his future looks bright, and he'll be like fitting in with this Liverpool squad as well. And we'll look better. We'll look much better, in my opinion. So people, this is what I brought for you. Like, we got 4 players there. Yuri Tielemans, Moses Caicedo, and you got Ruben Neves. I hope I said that name right. You got Ruben Neves and you got Jude Bellingham. Yeah, like for if I'm realistic, in January, I'll say get Caicedo and get Ruben Neves, and then we'll be sorted to the end of the season. Then at the end of the season, we could look into Jude Bellingham and see where we're going from there. But I'm not going to complain if we get Tielemans either. I mean, it's up to Jurgen Klopp at the end of the day. But I think his running ability, and you know, he treads a lot of water. Like, he needs to lose a lot of weight, and he needs a lot of hard training for him to become the player that we want him to be. And it's going to be it's going to be impossible, but you never know with your club, innit? You never know. Yeah, so people, I hope you enjoyed this, man, because, you know, like, I try to bring whatever comes out, obviously, in the news outlets, and from what I've heard, FSG are willing to spend in January. But we've heard that before, and nothing ever come of it, and we get loan players here and there. But yeah, please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.